My name is Abdulrazak Ali and this is Dalsan TV English News. We have a lot lined up for you, but first let's have a look at some of the stories that are making headlines here in Somalia. Man accused of burning pregnant wife to death faces trial in Mogadishu. Somalia launches Data Protection Authority. Qatar and Somalia sign MOU for legal cooperation. And 2 miners perish in Somaliland mine collapse. Welcome back. We begin with the story of Benadir Regional Court, which reconvened on Monday to proceed with the case against Siyad Ali Muallim, who stands accused of the heinous act of burning his wife to death. His wife, Lul Abdulaziz Mohammed, died of burns in hospital last month. Our reporter has more on this story.
The Benadir Regional Court reconvened on Monday to proceed with the case against Syed Ali Malam Daoud, who stands accused of the heinous act of burning his pregnant wife, Lul Abdiaziz Mohammed, resulting in her untimely death. The courtroom was filled with the presence of both sides' relatives, members of the public, lawyers and prosecutors, as the trial continued at the Benadir Regional Court headquarters. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation and grief as the details of this tragic incident unfolded. During the initial sessions of the trial, Lul Abdicasis's children bravely took the stand to testify. Among them was 10-year-old Fahio Abdurazak, who recounted the horrifying events she had witnessed. With tears welling up in her eyes, Fahio described the unimaginable sight of her mother being engulfed in flames. The courtroom fell silent as Fahio shared her mother's final words of forgiveness before her tragic demise, leaving everyone deeply moved by the profound tragedy and loss. Syed Ali, the accused, also appeared in the court session, accompanied by his lawyer, Ali Halain. The presence of legal representation underscored the gravity of the charges and the importance of due process in this case. If found guilty of this heinous crime, Syed Ali faces the penalty of death by firing squad, as previously announced by Salah Daban in the court's previous session. As the trial progresses, the Benadir Regional Court remains committed to upholding the principles of justice, ensuring a fair and thorough examination of the evidence presented. The eyes of the public remain fixed on the proceedings, as the court seeks to deliver justice for Lul Abdicassis Mohammed and her grieving family.
Now on to our next story. Somalia has officially launched its Data Protection Authority. The inauguration ceremony, led by Communication and Technology Minister Jama Khalif, marked an important milestone in establishing a legal framework to govern data privacy within the country.
Somalia has officially launched its Data Protection Authority. The inauguration ceremony, led by Communications and Technology Minister Jama Hassan Khalif, marked an important milestone in establishing a legal framework to govern data privacy within the country. During the ceremony, Transport and Aviation Minister Firdousa Osman Igil expressed the ministry's commitment to collaborating closely with the newly established Data Authority. Minister Igil emphasized the importance of effective coordination between ministries to ensure the protection of individuals' privacy rights. This collaboration is seen as a crucial step towards fostering a comprehensive and integrated approach to data privacy across multiple sectors. Minister Khalif highlighted the government's determination to rectify years of neglect in addressing data privacy concerns. He stressed the significance of providing robust legal frameworks to safeguard individuals' data privacy rights, underscoring the government's readiness to prioritize this critical issue. The establishment of the Data Protection Authority demonstrates the federal government of Somalia's commitment to aligning with international standards and best practices in data protection. This development comes at a time when data privacy has become a global concern, with the increasing reliance on digital platforms and the growing threats of data breaches and unauthorized access. By establishing a dedicated authority, Somalia aims to create a secure and regulated environment, ensuring that individuals' personal information is adequately protected.
Qatar and Somalia have on Sunday signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU for cooperation in the legal fields. The MOU was signed by the Minister of Justice and Minister for Cabinet Affairs Ibrahim bin Ali Al-Hassan Al-Muhuddin and the visiting Somali Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Hassan Mualim Mahmoud.
Qatar and Somalia Sunday signed a memorandum of understanding MoU for cooperation in the legal fields. The MoU was signed by the Minister of Justice and Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs Ibrahim bin Ali bin Issa Al Hassan Al Mahanadi, and the visiting Somali Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Hassan Mo Alin Mohamud. The Ministry of Justice said the MoU aims to enhance cooperation between the two countries in various legal fields. Following the signing, the Minister of Justice and Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs met with the Somali Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and his accompanying delegation. They discussed ways to enhance legal cooperation between the countries. After the meeting, the visiting Somali delegation was briefed on the Qatari legal experience in the fields of real estate registration and attestation, legal training and public service. The Somali minister praised the Qatari legal experience and stressed that the visit has opened broad horizons for legal cooperation.
Well, 2 miners have lost their lives following the collapse of a mine they were digging in Gabile region of Somaliland. A survivor of the tragic incident spoke to the media and said that the two were inside when the mine collapsed.
2 miners have tragically lost their lives following the collapse of a mine they were excavating in the Gabile region of Somaliland. The heart-wrenching account of a survivor paints a vivid picture of the sudden and shocking events that unfolded. The collapse occurred with such speed that the miners inside had no chance to escape, leaving their fellow workers outside in disbelief. According to the survivor, who recounted the harrowing incident, the two were inside, and the rest of us were outside when the mine just caved in and imploded. It happened in an instant. The scene we witnessed and the quake that emanated from the site were shocking. The suddenness and intensity of the collapse created a scene of devastation, leaving those present shaken and traumatized. Another miner revealed that one of the victims was deep inside the mine, while the other was closer to the entrance. Tragically, as the collapse occurred, both miners were unable to escape, resulting in their untimely deaths. The desperate attempts made by their colleagues to rescue them were in vain, as the collapse unfolded swiftly and mercilessly. Mursal Mohammed Jama, a representative of the Gabile District Local Council, confirmed to MMTV that the remains of the victims have been recovered from the site and transported to the city of Gabile. This tragic incident is not an isolated event, as reports indicate that it is one of 3 similar incidents to have occurred in the region in recent years, each resulting in the loss of precious lives. The mining industry carries inherent risks, and it is crucial for authorities and stakeholders to prioritize safety measures to protect the lives of those involved. This unfortunate event serves as a reminder of the need for strict adherence to safety protocols and regulations within the mining sector. Efforts must be made to enhance safety standards, provide adequate training to miners, and implement effective monitoring systems to prevent such tragedies from recurring.
The West Africa Regional Bloc has said on Monday morning that it has lifted strict sanctions on Niger as it seeks a new strategy to dissuade the 3 junta-led states from withdrawing from the political and economic union, a move that threatens regional integration.
The West African Regional Bloc said on Saturday that it would lift strict sanctions on Niger as it seeks a new strategy to dissuade 3 junta-led states from withdrawing from the political and economic union. Leaders of the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, met to address a political crisis in the coup-hit region that deepened in January with the military-ruled Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali's decision to exit the 15-member bloc. ECOWAS President Omar Touré.
Closure of land and air borders between ECOWAS countries and Niger to be lifted. No-fly zone of all commercial flights to and from Niger is to be lifted. Suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS member states and Niger is to be lifted.
ECOWAS closed borders and imposed strict measures on Niger last year after soldiers detained President Mohamed Bazoum and set up a transitional government. It was one of a series of recent military takeovers that have exposed the bloc's inability to halt democratic backsliding. The sanctions have forced Niger, already one of the world's poorest countries, to slash government spending and default on debt payments of more than $500 million. Touré added that some targeted and political sanctions remained in place for Niger without giving details. The decision to lift sanctions was done for humanitarian reasons, according to the communiqué. But the move will be seen as a gesture of appeasement as ECOWAS tries to persuade the three junta states to remain in the alliance. Their planned exit would bring a messy disentanglement from the bloc's trade and services flows, worth nearly $150 billion a year. ECOWAS said it had lifted certain sanctions on junta-led Guinea, which has not said it wants to leave the bloc, but has not committed to a timeline to return to democratic rule. ECOWAS also imposed sanctions on Mali, although they were lifted in 2022. The three countries have called ECOWAS' sanctions strategy illegal and grounds for their decision to leave the bloc immediately without abiding by usual withdrawal terms. The three have started cooperating under a pact known as the Alliance of Sahel States and sought to form a confederation. However, it is not clear how closely they plan to align political, economic and security interests as they struggle to contain a decade-old battle with Islamist insurgents.
That story brings us to the end of this bulletin. My name is Abdulrazak Ali and thank you so much for always tuning in to Dalsan TV. Till we meet again, we wish you a lovely evening.